My ex showed up at my doorstep with a smirk and said, "I gave you the best years of my life, so take me back or pay me for my time." When I refused, he crossed his arms and sneered, "Then I'll just tell everyone you used me." I smirked, held up a screenshot, and said, "Funny, because here's every time you cheated, and I was saving this for the perfect moment." I wasted 6 years on a man who turned out to be a liar, a leech, and a coward. This isn't some dramatic movie plot. This happened right here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I've lived my whole life. I work as a clinic manager at a dental office. Decent hours, steady paycheck, nothing flashy. Just stable. Nick came into my life like he was the answer to everything I didn't know I needed. I met him when I was 31. He was 33, working part-time at a used bookstore. He had this lazy charm, like he didn't care if you liked him, but you still wanted him to like you. I fell into it fast. Thought he was deep, thoughtful, different from the usual guys who just wanted to hook up and ghost. He moved into my apartment 10 months in. Said he was getting evicted from his place and needed a soft place to land. I didn't even hesitate. That's how stupidly in love I was. He brought 3 duffel bags, a PlayStation, and his guitar. That was it. And I thought, this is what starting a life together looks like. First year was all right. He made me laugh. He cooked sometimes. He read poems out loud like he was auditioning for something. I thought we were growing together. Then his work hours got cut. He said he was gonna look for something better. Months went by. Then a year. Nothing. I paid rent. I covered the bills. I even bought him clothes. Every time I asked about job applications, he said, "I don't want to take just anything. I'm figuring out my next move." I believed that. For too long. I started noticing little things. Weird phone behavior. Always taking calls outside. He'd lock his phone when he never used to. Once, I grabbed his hoodie off the floor and found a receipt in the pocket from a fancy steakhouse we'd never been to. 2 entrees. A bottle of wine. Tip included. When I asked him about it, he said it was from networking. Said a friend paid. I knew he was lying, but I didn't want to face it yet. I felt like if I admitted it, I'd have to deal with everything falling apart. So I started keeping track. Every sketchy message I saw flash on his screen. Every photo he forgot to delete. Even phone numbers I didn't recognize, I reverse searched them, took notes. I saved everything in a hidden folder on my phone. Named it Utilities. No one would click that. The thing that broke me wasn't the cheating itself. It was the way he acted like I owed him something. Like I was lucky to have him, even when I was carrying all the weight. He made me feel guilty when I asked for help. Said I was controlling when I asked where he was going. Year 5, I hit my limit. I told him I needed space. I didn't scream or cry. I just said, "I'm tired." He looked at me, shrugged, and said, "Maybe this isn't working." Packed a bag and left that night. No fight. No apology. Just gone. That was almost 10 months ago. I cleaned up. Went back to therapy. Focused on work. Reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in years. And slowly, the weight lifted. I was healing. Then last week, there was a knock at my door. It was Nick. He looked exactly the same. Same old hoodie. Same smug face. Like nothing ever happened. Like I was supposed to throw my arms around him. He didn't even say hi. He looked me up and down and said, "I've been thinking. I gave you the best years of my life. I supported you. So I want what I'm owed." I blinked. "What do you mean?" He smiled. That slimy, self-satisfied grin I used to fall for. Either take me back or pay me for my time. 6 years is a long investment. I laughed. I didn't mean to, it just came out. I looked at him and thought, you really believe this? He didn't like that. He leaned in, dropped the smile. Then, "I'll just tell people you used me. That you manipulated me, made me depend on you, and kicked me out. Let's see what your job thinks about that." That's when I reached for my phone. I'd kept everything. All those screenshots, all those receipts, every text and photo and email. I pulled up the folder and held it out. "You sure?" I said. "Because I've got a better story. And actual proof." He went pale. For the first time, he didn't have a comeback. "Come inside," I said. "Let's talk about payment." I let him inside. Not because I wanted to see him, but because I wanted control. I wanted him to sit across from me and feel what it was like to be cornered. He walked in like he owned the place. Looked around like nothing had changed. "Still smells like you," he said, trying to sound charming. I ignored it. We sat at the kitchen table. I didn't offer him water. I didn't pretend to be nice. I opened my laptop, connected my phone, and mirrored the folder onto the screen. Dozens of screenshots. Hotel receipts. Flirty texts from women I didn't know, and one I did. Jenny, my old coworker from the clinic, who left about a year ago after things got weird between us. He flinched when he saw her name. "You want to talk payment?" I said. "Let's talk about how you took advantage of me for 6 years. I paid for your food, your phone, your insurance. I even paid off your credit card once. You remember that?" He stayed quiet. "Here's the thing," I continued. "I don't want your money. You don't have any. But you do have a reputation, and I have something you've never had: receipts and self-control." He tried to shift the blame. "You kept all this like some kind of psycho? You've been planning this." "No," I said. "I kept it because you made me feel crazy. And now I'm proving I'm not." He stood up like he was going to leave, but I blocked the door. "I haven't done anything illegal," he snapped. "You can't ruin my life over private texts. Depends who I show them to." He froze. I lowered my voice. "I know you've been talking to a few women." I recognized one of them. "Want to know what she'd think if I told her you gave her the same story you gave me? That you were starting fresh and healing from a toxic ex? Or how about your little side hustle you bragged about on Reddit under your fake name, bragging that you're living off women, calling it a soft life?" "Yeah, I found that too." He looked like he'd been slapped. I continued. "I could show your sister. She's a mom now. Bet she'd love to know what kind of man you really are. Or your old boss at the bookstore? Yeah, I remember him. Remember how you said he was a creep? I met him once. He seemed fine. Bet he'd be real interested to know why you really got fired." His voice cracked. "You don't have to do this." "No," I said. "I want to." And then, as if the universe wanted to twist the knife, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Jenny. "Jenny, hey, weird question. Did Nick ever lie to you about me? He's been messaging me again. Said you two broke up because you cheated." I stared at the screen for a second, then showed it to him. He tried to speak. I held up a finger. "Don't." The look on his face was pure panic now. His confidence was gone. All that fake swagger? Gone. I leaned in close. "I'm giving you one chance. Walk out of here. Don't contact me again. Don't contact anyone I know. Or I drop the whole damn folder on every social media channel you ever touched. Reddit, Instagram, even your dumb SoundCloud page. You won't be able to walk into a grocery store in this town without someone side-eyeing you." He opened his mouth again. "I will ruin you. And not out of spite. Out of principle." And that's when I saw it. Fear. Real fear. He left without another word. But I wasn't done. I messaged Jenny. "Can we talk?" I met up with Jenny 2 days later at a coffee shop on the other side of town, one where no one would recognize us. She walked in wearing a hoodie and sunglasses, like she didn't want to be seen. I got it. I felt the same way. She sat down and didn't say anything for a minute. Just looked at me. Then she finally spoke. "I'm sorry." I nodded. "So am I." Then I pulled out my phone and showed her the texts. The ones he sent her while we were still together. The ones where he lied and said I was distant, cold, always angry. The ones where he called me unstable and said I made him feel trapped. I saw her face fall the more she scrolled. "I believed him," she whispered. "He said you cheated on him. That you used him. That he had to start over because of you." I let her sit with it. Then she looked up and said something I didn't expect. I'm pregnant. I didn't say anything. I just stared. She nodded slowly. I found out last week. He doesn't know. My chest went tight. I could barely speak. Is it his? Yeah, I'm sure. I leaned back, took a long sip of my coffee. My brain was spinning. Jenny looked at me, eyes wide. I don't want him involved. I don't even want him to know. But I'm scared. He's manipulative. He's got this way of twisting things. I don't know what he'll do. I looked at her for a long time. Then I told her everything. What he said at my door. The threats. The fake victim story he was ready to unleash. And the folder I'd built, every lie, every name, every date. She swallowed hard. You've been keeping all this? Yeah, I said. For exactly this reason. We sat in silence for a while. Then I had a thought. What if we worked together? Jenny blinked. What do you mean? I mean, what if we don't just make him go away? What if we make sure he can't do this to anyone else? Her lips parted, but she didn't speak. I continued, I've got proof. You've got a story. If we put it all together, we could destroy the version of him he tries to sell everyone. Show who he really is. Jenny was quiet for a moment. Then she whispered, I want to ruin him. That's when I knew we were on the same page. And that's when the plan really began. We weren't just two women who got played. We were two women who'd had enough. And we were just getting started. Jenny and I started meeting twice a week at odd hours in out-of-the-way places. It felt like we were running some covert mission. In a way, we were. I brought the receipts. She brought the stories. Turns out, she wasn't the only one he'd charmed with that soft-spoken voice and I've been hurt before act. She had names. For other women, all local, all with similar timelines. Some overlapped with my relationship. One of them, Claire, was a bartender who said Nick used to show up during her shifts and wait around until she got off, then guilt her into staying with him even though she didn't want to. Claire agreed to meet. Then came Tanya, a nurse Nick matched with on a dating app and ghosted after 2 months of sleeping over at her place. And finally, Rebecca, his ex before me. I didn't even know she existed. She said Nick lived with her in 2016, left suddenly, and ghosted after borrowing her car and wrecking it. Claimed it got stolen. Each of us had been told we were the only one who understood him. Each of us was told a different sob story. Each of us had been asked for money, rides, or a place to stay. He didn't date women. He used them. That's when I decided this wasn't just about revenge. This was about stopping him. We started compiling a full timeline. All the women wrote down what they remembered, dates, places, text conversations. Claire still had messages. Tanya had an old voicemail he left her, drunk, begging her not to cut off the gravy train. Jenny said, "What if we take this public?" My stomach flipped. You mean like, post it? Yeah, all of it. The folder. The timeline. Our stories. Anonymous if we want, but real. With proof. It felt risky. But also, right? We made a plan. Jenny made a private Instagram account, The Real Nick. We didn't use his last name at first. Just screenshots, audio clips, and redacted messages that lined up with the dates. We posted anonymously. No names. No locations. But it didn't take long for people to start connecting the dots. Within 3 days, we had over 500 followers. Then someone messaged the account. Another woman. She'd been dating Nick for 2 months. He told her his ex had ruined his life, and he was starting fresh. When she saw the account, she panicked. Sent us his messages. His voice notes. One where he said, "I've been through hell. I just want someone to take care of me again." We added her story. We kept building. Then something wild happened. A woman named Elena, who I'd never heard of, posted on her own Facebook page about a guy named N who'd used her for rent money and then vanished. Her post went viral in the local Grand Rapids community group. People started talking, asking questions, sharing the link to The Real Nick. 2 days later, Nick messaged me. It was just one line. Take it down. I left it on read. The next day, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was his mother. Hi, this is Denise. Nick's mom. Can we talk? I wasn't expecting that. She said Nick had come to stay with her. Said he was having a mental breakdown. That people were attacking him online. She didn't know the full story, only that he was spiraling. I told her everything. She went quiet for a long time. Then said, I'm so sorry. He's always had a way of charming people, even me. But if what you're saying is true, I understand why you're doing this. She hung up. The next post we made included a video of Nick at a party, flirting with 2 women at once. Claire had recorded it 2 years ago when she caught him cheating on her and saved it. The video wasn't blurry. It was him. Clear as day. We didn't even need to say his full name anymore. People knew. It didn't take long for the fallout to hit Nick's life like a freight train. After the video post, someone tagged the bookstore where he used to work. Then a former coworker shared the account and added, he used to brag about this stuff. Said being broke was a mindset and women were just resources. The floodgates opened. More people came forward, men and women. Old classmates, ex-roommates, even a guy who said Nick scammed him out of $600 for a music collab that never happened. Apparently, Nick had been running small-time cons for years. Same pattern. Charm, sympathy, need, ghost. And now? It was catching up with him. He deactivated his Facebook. His Instagram disappeared. One of the women who'd been seeing him said he showed up at her place drunk, crying, asking if she'd forgive a man who was just trying to survive. She told him to leave, then sent us the whole story. Meanwhile, Jenny started getting DMs from local reporters. A few of us did. There was enough buzz now that people wanted to do a feature, something on digital abuse, manipulation, and anonymous online accountability. We didn't say yes. Not yet. We wanted to stay in control. Then the email came. It was from Nick. Subject line, you win, he wrote. I get it. You hate me. You want me dead. Congrats, you've ruined my life. I can't go anywhere without people looking at me like I'm trash. I lost a job offer, I can't get dates, and now even my mom won't speak to me. What more do you want from me? I stared at it for a long time. Then I hit forward and sent it to Jenny, Claire, Tanya, Rebecca, and the others. We were meeting that night anyway. Jenny had something big to share. When we all showed up at her apartment, she dropped the bomb. Nick tried to sign up for a job at a community outreach center. They called me as a reference. He used my name. I almost choked. What? Yeah. Said I was his former landlord. They asked if he was trustworthy. I told them no. I told them everything. There was a beat of silence. Then Claire said, he's desperate now. Tanya, good. Let him feel it. Rebecca, we need to finish this. So we did. We made one final post. It was a compilation. Faces blurred, names hidden, but stories told clearly and truthfully. It ended with this line. This isn't about ruining a man. It's about showing what happens when you lie, steal, manipulate, and walk away without consequences. We are not your safety nets. We are your end. That post hit over 30,000 views in 24 hours. Then came the knock at my door. I froze. Through the peephole, it was him. Nick. Thin. Pale. Hair messed up like he hadn't slept in days. He stood there like a statue, hands clenched. I didn't open the door. I cracked the window beside it. He looked up, startled. Please, he said. Just 5 minutes. You don't get 5 minutes, I said. You got 6 years. I lost everything, he whispered. You lost what you stole. He looked like he might cry. I'm not a bad person. I didn't even blink. You're just a man who got caught. Then I shut the window. And I watched him walk away. He walked away that night, but it wasn't over, not yet. 2 days later, I got a message from Rebecca. Check the community board on Facebook. He's trying to clear his name. I opened the page. There it was. A long, dramatic post from a burner account. No name, but anyone paying attention knew it was Nick. People make mistakes. We all do. But now my life has been destroyed because I trusted the wrong person. The lies being spread about me are dangerous. I've lost my job, my home, and people I cared about. I'm being stalked, threatened, and humiliated. I'm not perfect. But I don't deserve this. There were a few comments in support, probably burner accounts too. But most of the replies? They weren't kind. You deserve worse. Tell that to the women you conned. Accountability isn't stalking. He tried fighting back. Said the stories were fake. That it was all revenge from a bitter ex. That we were lying for attention. So we dropped the hammer. Jenny and I, along with 3 of the others, filed a joint report with a local attorney. It wasn't about money, it was about putting everything on record. Not pressing charges, but creating a documented paper trail in case he tried to do this again. A protective step. Just in case. That got his attention. We didn't hear from him for a while after that. He stopped posting. The burner accounts went quiet. Then, about a month later, I got a voicemail. It was short. Just him, sobbing. No words. Just a few broken sounds, like someone realizing they couldn't crawl their way out this time. I saved it, just like the rest. And here's the thing. I'm not proud of all of it. There were days I felt like I'd gone too far. Days I wondered if I'd let the anger take over. If I'd become the kind of person who wanted to see someone suffer just to feel better. But then I'd read another message. Another woman saying, he did the same to me. Another story that lined up. Another life he tried to spin like a game. He made the mess. We just turned on the light. Jenny kept the account up, even after the storm passed. She renamed it Lessons Learned. Now it's a support page, women helping other women spot the red flags, trust their gut, and speak up before it's too late. As for Nick? Last I heard, he moved to Chicago. Changed his name online. Started over. But stories follow you. Especially when they're true. And me? I kept one thing from that folder. One screenshot. One photo. Just to remind myself how far I'd come. It's not about revenge anymore. It's about never letting someone make me feel small again. Not ever.